What has your experience as a Black woman been being in an interracial relationship?
Always just looked at it as who was treating me with respect, who was looking at me, who was seeing me for me, and that's what was most important.
Dude, I gotta ask you, how many bottles of hair product are in your shower?
Well,
You want to talk about culture shock as a white man with my 5-in-1?
Yeah.
I've been dating outside of my race since I could date.
Why should anybody care who the two of you decide to settle down with?
Now that I'm married, it's like the trending topic. But then living where we live, it's, oh my gosh, he's with a Black girl, but not that kind of.
We are back for another episode. Glad you guys are able to join us. And always check out what we're up to at mikecpodcast.com and also wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your streaming from. We're on there. We're on most platforms. So always check out what we're up to. We've got new episodes weekly. And today we take a look at a familiar topic on this platform, the subject of interracial relationships. Pairings of Black women and white men are becoming more and more common today, and there's a notable increase in these numbers, especially in recent years. And today we're going to be diving into the real story of an interracial couple, celebrating love, challenges, and unique journeys that they navigate together. How do people perceive them when they're out and about? Do they get stares? What did their family think of their relationship? Today we're speaking to a returning guest, and this time she brought her husband along so we can dive into some of the deeper dynamics of these relationships. She is an entrepreneur and former Olympian. He is an educator and former college football player. Please welcome Ken and Priscilla Loomis. Great to see you guys. I'm glad you guys are able to hang out with us again.
Oh, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, like as soon as I did the last one, I was like, you're gonna love this guy, babe. You're gonna have such a good time. And this is actually, I think, the first time we have done a podcast being interviewed together.
We've done a lot of interviewing.
Yes. So this is the first time that we are covering this topic for an interview. So I don't really know what you're going to get, but you invited us, so there's no turning back now.
No, there's no turning back. And Ken, we've never met prior to this, so really good to meet you, and I'm glad you made time to hang out with us today.
Course.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
So I'm going to have questions for both of you. Priscilla, I'm going to start with you. And starting just with the basics, what has your experience as a Black woman been being in an interracial relationship?
I will say it has been a lot more interesting, and I've gotten a lot more feedback than I ever expected to. I never realized that my relationship with somebody of a different background, a different race, would bring comments, bring distaste, bring everything that it brings. There's a whole plethora of things that people say, like you were saying, the stares, all that kind of stuff. But I have been dating outside of my race since I could date, right? So my first boyfriend, my first kiss was a white man. And so it's one of those things where I don't really, for me specifically growing up, I always just looked at it as who was treating me with respect, who was looking at me, who was seeing me for me, and that's what was most important. But now that I'm married, it's like the trending topic. But then living where we live, it's, oh my gosh, he's with a Black girl, but not that kind of Black girl.
Definitely unique. Yeah.
So it's, we've gotten people coming out from like a bar and a guy running after us. We think it's the end of our life. And he's like, I love this whole thing. And I'm like, thank you. So again, it's one of those things where it's just like, I love this man, for who he is, for what he makes me better. And so it just happens to be that, he's Caucasian. So it has brought about a plethora of emotions, good and bad. And that is really shocking to me. And definitely in this climate that we're in today, it's one of those things that is even more popular to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's true, Priscilla, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I've been in a similar situation. You guys know I'm in a similar marriage situation.
So and fabulous fierce.
Yeah, she's dope.
Goddess of a Black woman. Yes.
She's awesome. No, she
Yes.
is. Thank you. And she is awesome. I'm very blessed. She keeps me in line and grounded, and
Yep.
I'd be lost without her. And
That's what we do.
I-
No worries.
Yeah, makes two of us.
There you go, Ken. But I've experienced that same thing you described, Priscilla, where somebody had run up to us and said, like, you guys are such a beautiful couple, and you get conditioned to get your back up and your defenses
Yes.
prior,
Yes.
when someone approaches you, because you think you're going to hear the opposite, because
Yeah.
we've all
Yes.
experienced the opposite
Yes.
sentiment, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
it's refreshing. It can be like weird when you don't expect it sometimes, but it's refreshing to know that people are, not that we're seeking their approval, but it's nice
Yeah.
when somebody pays a positive
Acknowledges
comment.
it, yep.
Yeah, definitely. Whereas they could be doing the opposite. So, I mean, sometimes that's a pleasant surprise. And I've felt
Yeah.
that same feeling. And, it's great when somebody expresses that. I mean, I
Yeah.
can relate to that. So I
I can
appreciate you
definitely
sharing that.
see, of course, it's a beautiful thing. And when people are like, you guys are a beautiful couple, and it's just weird for me just because I'm just like, I don't think I've ever gone up to another couple being like, you guys are a gorgeous couple, white, black, and like, it doesn't matter. So for me, I'm like, what makes us so different?
Right.
You know what I mean? But then it's
Yeah.
always, I'm being so serious, it is always followed up by, you guys must have the most beautiful children.
Right.
And we're
Right.
like, one, we don't have kids.
We don't have them, but
But I hope you think your children are beautiful.
my ugos at home are yuck, but your kids, whew, great.
It's like the weirdest thing. So it is. I mean, look, you get a lot, and I still don't understand it. But then I start to watch these wonderful historical movies about interracial marriages and what it took to have this be legal in today's society, which wasn't that long ago. And so watching these movies and hearing these stories, I'm very grateful. But it does kind of like, you're just as a Black woman, I'm just tilting my head like, why? It like love is love. So I just, and that's always been my perception. So for me, I mean, I've dated Black, I've dated white. And so for me, it was just, I love who I love. And that was always it. When people comment on it, I'm like, I think it's interesting, and it takes balls to come out and say it. But look, if you love us or hate us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just gonna fall back it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the way to look at it. And why should anybody care who the two of you decide to settle down with? It shouldn't really matter to
Yeah.
anybody else, but
It
we always
shouldn't.
but we know that that's not the case everywhere, and we're going to
Yes.
experience disapproval from people on all sides. And
Yeah.
that's just
I
something,
mean, even in my family, that's something that we even have experienced, my own family.
Really?
Like there are
yeah.
people within my family that 100% believe that race should stay with race, culture should stay with culture.
And how did you navigate that?
I would say probably just by not giving a damn.
Beautifully said,
I
honey.
kept it PG,
It
You just-
is. And as you know, I'm a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I look at all sides of it. But honestly, it was one of those things where I was like, I keep it at arm's length. I know your family, and I know that we're blood, but really what you say has no effect on what we're doing here. So we don't see that family member. We don't really associate with them. But it is one of the things where we're fine. It's him and I. It's him and I at the end of the day. And that's all that matters. So we talk about things very openly, and we'll discuss certain things because we knew going in, not everyone was going to be a fan. And so I wanted to make sure that he and his family were ready for whatever came
for
out.
what could come from this.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I've had an ex we were together for a long time. His dad sat him down and was like, are you sure you want this? This is not an easy journey. and it's going to be difficult. So for that to happen, and I had never heard that. My mom never instilled that. It was always whoever I brought to the door, who are you to my daughter? Mm-hmm. So for him, I knew that he had never dated a black girl, thought about marrying. So I was like, okay, like, are you ready for what's about to come? And he was like, I mean, you can answer. Go ahead. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. Couldn't care less. Yeah, I'm fine. It wasn't no skin off my back. I'm good.
Yeah, he's a very chill person. I'm the one that's ready to fight, and he's like, "Calm down, babe. Yeah. Like, it's not that serious." I'm like, "It is that serious."
She's about taking off your earrings, about to get the Vaseline out.
Yes. Yes. And I introduced him to that culture too.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Dude, my lotion game has been on point. Yeah.
So
I have put him on lotion. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So Ken, what's your experience been like when you first started dating Priscilla? I don't know if you've ever dated anyone from a different racial background in the past, but what's that been like for you?
It's been awesome. I've dated some black women beforehand, Hispanics as well. But when Priscilla and I first got together, she was mid-competition as an Olympic athlete, and her trademark was her lilac purple hair. So wherever we would go, not only would she be the only black person around, but she'd be this stunningly beautiful black woman with this highlighter purple hair. So
it wasn't highlighter.
I'm a teacher. It's a highlighter.
It was a beautiful.
It's a beautiful highlighter color. It's kind of like the boxes around here.
I've seen pictures. Great. It's a great
mm-hmm.
look. It's an awesome look.
It's an awesome look, and it's not an everyday hair color, so it's going to draw some attention. Yeah. But it doesn't matter to me. Love is love and beauty is beauty. Whatever you're into, as long as you're happy and you're doing good in this world. Marry a goat for all I care. Just be a good person.
I care if you marry a goat. Yeah. I do.
Be a good person, do good in the world, and just be happy. You're fine.
And I was worried because he was like, "Hey, I wanna." Now, mind you, we were casually dating, and it was very chill and relaxed. And then he was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to my parents," and I was like, because previously it didn't go so well. Yeah. So I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to change my hair? Am I gonna have to go through this again? I didn't know you dated another black girl before me.
Yep.
It's good to know.
Okay.
Oh, this is just coming out now on
breaking
this
news.
podcast?
Yep.
Breaking news. I love that.
I feel like I didn't know this. Yeah. I knew Hispanic, but I did not know black. Yep. Okay. We can talk about this later, but
I just more podcasts. You'll learn more, Priscilla.
Of course. There's a whole file she has no idea about.
It's great. Thanks, honey.
Tucked away.
Yeah, great. The Ken files. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so much fun. Thank you so much, Mike. This has been really eye-opening. We're gonna end now.
Well, Ken.
No, but it was one of those things. Yeah, I was really nervous to meet his parents because, again, where he grew up is a wonderful community, but it is divided. And that's kind of like where we live currently right now. It is, they call it like a red area, red zone.
We're a very red conservative county.
Yes, very conservative county. So, it's one of those things where I knew where I was and I knew what I was getting into, but, I wasn't sure if that was going to be a hiccup in the relationship. So, but he took it like a champ. It's great.
Yeah, and that's something when people who are, the same ethnic background, when they date, meeting the parents can always be nerve-wracking, but it takes on a different dynamic when it's a situation like yours. And, I've been in that situation too, and we're very fortunate because on both sides for us, our families were very accepting, but that's not a reality in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
So Priscilla, I can understand the nerve-wracking aspect to that, and that's probably something black women wrestle with when they have to meet the person they're dating, their parents and their family, because there's probably some tensions there, and they might meet with some disapproval by some members, just like on your side you experienced the same thing.
100%.
That's difficult. So I can understand why you'd be nervous, but it's just something that people have to consider when they get in relationships like this, right? Like you said earlier.
Yes.
And so,
And it's something that it's things that you have to consider it because it's your relationship. You shouldn't feel like anybody else should have a say in it. But you want things to be as copacetic as possible. You want things to be thank you. We want things to be as smooth and happy, right? Because we are starting this life together.
yeah.
But it was one of the greatest things. I walked in and she was like, "I love your hair." And I was like, "Thank you."
I knew from the jump my parents would love her. I mean, we went to high school together, so my parents already knew of her.
Okay.
So
that helps,
that part
right?
that part wasn't a surprise. So when I said, "Hey, this is who I'm dating, and this I'm bringing home to Sunday dinner," my dad was like, "Oh, awesome, attaboy, son, good job." And then my mom, as soon as they met, they hit it off,
she's amazing, so loving, so welcoming, and so warm, and vice versa with my mom and my stepdad. Super wonderful, super awesome, and that it makes you like. It's like a sigh of relief. You're like, oh, thank God. When we said we were moving in together and we were getting married, it was just, we're so happy for you. We are, it was never, are you guys ready? Are you sure? It was nothing like that. So it does make that a little bit easier, but I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about being a public figure out in the world, people knowing my business, and what my race was going to say. It always seems to be like you take it personally when it's your own race, being like, oh, why didn't you get yourself a black man, right? Like that kind of thing. And I'm sure the same thing, but it's tough. It really is tough because you're not thinking about any of that, but I did think about that from a public figure, and for the young girls that were watching me and what their parents were saying, like that's what kind of goes through my
Serena's
mind.
husband's white, right?
Yes, Serena's husband is white.
We're fine.
Yes,
she could do it. We're good.
So, Priscilla, how do you discuss race and identity with Ken? Like, you're a black woman, your worldview is traditionally going to be different from that of a white man, somebody like myself or somebody like Ken. We just see the world through a different lens, through different experiences. Society sees and treats us differently. Like that's pretty much obvious, I think. You know, so how do you discuss some of those issues when they come up with Ken?
I will say the best thing of our marriage is that he's a history teacher. And he loves history. So when it was, obviously we had been married for a year when COVID hit. And so we were not even, so we were in the house stuck, and then the Me Too, the Me Too, the Black Lives Matter, all of this was happening. And we had to sit down, right? Like when we got engaged, we sat down and said, if we have kids, you're going to have to talk to our son about getting pulled over. And he was like, you're absolutely right. Right? Like there was no hesitation. It wasn't, I don't believe in that. He knew there's a real issue and it's historical. Yep. So when this happened, and the Black Lives Matter movement and all this kind of stuff, we sit down at dinner, we sit down and have a beer, have a glass of wine, and we just talk. And I'm like, babe, what's true, what's not, what if history is repeating itself? Let's talk about it. And so we are very open and honest about what I feel, what I'm going through. And we don't really get into politics, just because it's not about he said, she said. That's like in our marriage in general. We don't really argue because it's not about who's right or wrong. It's what are you trying to say? Like let me hear your point of view. So when it came to race, when it comes to issues that I feel I'm dealing with, I got called the N-word at a local Wawa, right? And I told him, and he was like, how are you feeling? He's not getting ballistic. He's like, are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you feel safe enough to go back? It's a very mature conversation, right? During this last election, we were out and people were making comments and the word monkey got dropped. And I went to the bathroom. I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm crying. I think it's time to go. He's like, we're gone. Are you okay? Do you need... we are very supportive of each other. We understand where we're coming from. But we have to have these open and honest conversations because the lens is very different for both of us. And he does know it's always going to be different for me.
Oh, yeah.
But I am a very strong, independent, headstrong kind of person. So he's not coddling me. He's like, let's talk about the education of it. And this is how we move forward. Being angry, being upset is very valid. But here's where you become the change, which is what I want, right? Yeah. And then we make jokes about, like, we have to laugh about it. At the end of the day, it's like Modern Family. You just got to laugh about certain things, right? You got to have the humor. You've got to find that light into it. And that's something that we are really great at. So now he puts out history lessons every day. We'll go out, and people that I never thought would, were like, every morning we follow Ken's page to see the history lessons. We want to know what's going on. And so it's been a really beautiful elevation of our marriage. Understanding Black Lives Matter, understanding what executive orders are being signed, and understanding what that means for our marriage. The one thing that is scary for me right now is I feel that our marriage is in jeopardy. I do.
Legally speaking.
Legally speaking. And so it's one of the things that we have to talk about, right? But it's definitely something we are very aware of. We speak about very openly, but it's about the care of each other. And I think that's why the marriage does so well in minus color. It's we care about each other's opinions and each other's point of view. And we joke about it. That's definitely something that
we definitely joke about.
We definitely joke about it. Like, we'll be down the street and I'm like, all right, come on, white man, like, let's go. Obviously, you have the right of way. Of course you do. Like, so you have to make light of it. You have
like,
to
which way we go?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, you got to have a little fun with it, of course, because I mean, there's got to be some humor.
Yeah. Priscilla, you mentioned legally speaking, there's your marriage is in jeopardy. What do you mean by that?
So
I was gonna say the history teacher is definitely going to cover this one.
So if our government decides to outlaw or reverse gay marriage and say that marriage is no longer legal, what's then to stop then from making interracial marriage illegal? Because it used to be not legal, then Loving Day happened. Interracial marriage is okay.
Loving Day was 1965,
67, right around the Civil Rights era. So if gay marriage can get overturned, why not interracial? And so far that hasn't happened, but it has been talked about. It has been whispered about. So if gay marriages can be overturned and that's no longer illegal, what's stopping interracial?
Okay. Just wanted clarification on that. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. So Priscilla, I like how you shared that you guys have this bond, and Ken, what I think is really good about how you handle and maneuver in this marriage with Priscilla is that it sounds like you don't invalidate her feelings if something's going on. It sounds like you have a very compassionate and understanding approach to anything that she's experiencing or feeling in those moments, and that's probably what makes you both so strong. So just in conducting yourself in that way, how have you learned, like, what have you learned about race and privilege since being married to Priscilla and sharing your life with her on this level?
So for me, like, it never started as like I've never really grown up or seen really white men with black women. Like, I've had friends, black dad, white mom, but I've never seen it, reversed in our situation. And not that, it was wrong or taboo or anything. It was something just never really saw. But going through this, we definitely, we turn heads wherever we live because we live in a majority white neighborhood.
Right. You guys are in New Jersey, right? If I can ask.
We're in very southern New Jersey.
Okay. Okay.
So when she walks in, when we go, to the bar, go out to eat or whatever, she walks in, obviously people are going to look at her because she's stunning, right? So she walks in slow motion, all the lights shine on her, like every 90s rom-com, you name it.
The music comes on.
Exactly, right? But she's one of one of 4 black people kind of that goes out in the community, two bars, two restaurants. I bartend on the side, so she'll come in and see me at work, and she might be my only black customer the whole night. So it's definitely rare and unique. I will say that our community has been nothing but open and welcoming and loving of her into our community. And I'm not from this community either. I moved down here for work. So it's very open-minded where we are. But as a history teacher, as a history guy, I mean, I know this, I can't say firsthand, I know the struggles of what it's like to be black, but of, any white person who's studied history, yeah, I'm definitely educated on the fact from, slavery, 1619, separate but equal, segregation, the great, silence, Jim Crow, all that stuff. So it's, luckily, I study that area and I can teach that area, so it's something I know and at least I'm aware of.
And that's the other thing. That was the other reason that we brought that up. The other reason I brought that up was because legally, there's an executive order on the floor for segregation from, what is it? Like the federal buildings that like the federal contracts.
They're getting rid of DEI and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the one it was desegregation or segregation was on the floor or something, and I was like, wait, what? And it was like that's part of.
Yeah, she texted me in the middle of the day. She's like, babe, what does this mean?
And I always text him. I'm always, because I don't understand, and I'm not going to be that person that's like putting it out there and being like, what is this? Yeah. No, I'm going to go right to him. And there's an executive order that's like, there is segregation within government contracts.
Like
federal contracts.
Yeah.
And it's scary. When you hear that word, I'm a musical theater, love. And so when you hear like Hairspray, in that retrospect, but then you're also looking at, the 6888 on Netflix, and, you're watching these stories. We celebrate Loving Day every year, so it's something that is very, very new. It's something that is not that far. It wasn't 500 years ago, right? It was a couple of years ago.
It was, my dad was born before Loving Day, and he's still alive. So
yes.
It's new.
It's very new.
Yeah.
And so that's why I put it up there, because it is something that as a black woman, this is what I'm seeing pop up on my Facebook. And you're like, segregation? Like, why is this word even coming up? So that is where we are very aware of it. But I'm very grateful for, and now, sorry, just side note, so that's not
no,
like,
it's fine.
Everyone's like,
it's fine.
She's elaborating. I'm like, no, boo-boo, this is a real real thing that I feel for our marriage, 100%.
Yeah.
But other people don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely have to factor those things in. And, Ken, you said something interesting, and my wife and I have moved from a blue state. We've experienced a move from a blue state to a red state. And
has your state moved, or you physically moved? Sorry, history, geography guy. Like, sometimes that blue goes to purple, and that purple goes to red.
Well, it's gone more purple, to be fair. But
Okay.
when we moved, it was pretty red. And I had some trepidation about that. I did. I had some concerns. I had some reservations. I didn't know what to expect. But honestly, I mean, the culture's different in some ways. Obviously, blue and red are different cultures, different mindsets, but it's actually been very positive for us.
Awesome.
And it wasn't all the things that that were worrying me just didn't really happen. And people are actually, listen, we're going to get stares. We got stares in LA. Okay. I mean, you get stares wherever you are.
But I have to say to the audience, you guys, again, are a beautiful couple. I know I said I would never, I usually don't say that, but I can say that. You guys are a beautiful freaking couple.
Well, I appreciate that. And you guys are too. And I mean that.
Oh,
it's
all me.
I know. He's bringing up the average.
Ken, you're a handsome dude, man.
Takes one to know one, honestly.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to say white guys? Like, is that
White
okay?
people. Aren't we just the worst? Yeah.
I love it.
We can go down a deep dive on that.
You gotta have a little fun. You gotta have
for sure. I love it. I'm loving this. But yeah, you can carry those worries, and then sometimes, I think oftentimes, not to get overly philosophical here, but I will say that I used to work with a CEO of a company, and I ran a recording studio, and I used to record talks that he
Nice.
would do. And he said many years ago in one of his sales presentations, 99% of the things we worry about never happen.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that kind of
It's
stuck with
true.
me, and it's kind of been true. Like this is like maybe 15 years ago when I heard this. And so I came to the state with a lot of fears that
Mm-hmm.
just didn't happen. And
Yeah.
we're in a
And I'm
we're in a,
happy.
Hmm.
That I'm
yeah,
really happy for you.
I appreciate that. And that's not going to be everybody's experience, but I think sometimes we can get really wrapped up in the politics that happen
Yeah.
in this country. And I think
Yes.
the media doesn't help. I really
Yeah.
feel that
Yep.
way.
Two
I
million
think the
percent.
media,
Yeah.
yeah, it really tries to spiral fear and upset people and rile people
Yeah.
up because
Mm-hmm.
that's part of
That's how you get
what
the
news
fans and the
media's
clicks.
done
Yep.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Ken. And I think sometimes it's healthy for people like us who have the concerns we have, couples like us, to just step back and look at the bigger picture. And I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are in this red county, but I mean, it sounds like your experience has largely been positive. Is that right or wrong? Am I
Yeah.
Yes.
wrong?
No, it's
Yes.
it's
No,
been
you
great.
are you are
Um,
100%
no,
right.
when we go out to like on Saturdays or when we go out and we do Quizzo, our team name is Black Wives Matter,
Yeah.
and like people get a kick out of it and like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Like, yeah, we're not trying to throw any culture in anybody's face. We're just a white dude and a black chick who just
Yeah.
known each other for over a decade and just happened to fall in love.
Yeah. And I will say that was it was for me knowing that I was coming to predominantly white area. It was something like I hope they like me. I hope they accept me, right? And so but that's something that he has never had to experience unless he was going to an all black area. You know what I mean? And so for me, I knew that he would protect me. He would be there. We were allowed to have these conversations. And it was just really, the town has been amazing. Like truly, truly. And that's what you're 100% right. I think it's the media. That's why I don't like to speak on it because I'm just like, this might just be something that's just thrown out there just to rile us up and, lose our focus. But yes, have we experienced racism? Yes. Have I experienced racism? Yes. But I've also experienced colorism and and sexism. It's a part of life when you're trying to go and be in the public eye. I was in the public eye, and so it's one of those things where when it comes down to it, it's totally fine. Does it happen? Yes. And do I want it to happen? Absolutely not. And was it worse? Absolutely. So I'm glad that we're moving in the right direction. And so I'm very grateful that the town has been so welcoming, so loving, and so open minded about a lot of things and understanding where we're coming from and who we are as a
Yeah.
couple.
I love hearing that, and I'm so glad that that has been positive for you guys, and
Yes.
it shows that even with some of the racial tensions that still happen in this country, what you're describing to me shows some progress, and that's
Yes.
always a
Oh yeah.
good step to be moving in that
Yes.
direction. And Priscilla, you said something that you hit on something interesting, and it was the idea that not every white person has been in a place where they were surrounded by black people necessarily
Or another
and
culture,
or another
like
culture. Yeah.
embedded,
Yeah.
Yeah.
embedded. Yes.
Right. And I've experienced that on a small level, like not living in a community day to day, but I worked in an office for a year for a black media organization, and I was literally one of the only white people in the entire office. And it was a interesting experience. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Hmm.
I actually
Yeah.
loved it. There was another Mike in the building, and then
Uh,
there was me, and I was white Mike, and I actually
You're a white
like
Mike.
you're
like
white
I
Mike.
was white
You're a
Mike,
white
White
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
and I didn't. I mean, that's who I was. They're like
That's
Mike,
yeah.
no white Mike. Oh, white Mike, and
Uh,
that's what they referred to me as.
Hmm.
But I mean, I just found it. I found it to be a very, how do I describe this? Like just a fulfilling experience. It was like something I think that took me out of my the environment that I was raised in and grew up
yeah.
in, and it just showed me some things, and it immersed me in another culture that
Yeah.
I loved. and it was they were like, it was just an awesome group of people, and I had so much fun. And my wife didn't know me then, but all that I've told her about this over the years, she can attest to this. It was a life-changing experience for me, and I think it's a healthy thing. It's a healthy experience for a white person to have, if they're able to have that opportunity. It doesn't always come up. But I think it's helpful. It's eye-opening, and it just broadens your horizons, your
It
experience.
does.
No, it really
Yeah.
does.
I think
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I mean, obviously, if you worked in media and in black media, then you're invited to the barbecue. So
Yeah.
100%. I'm very excited for
You're
that.
gonna do all the
Good.
choreographed line
Awesome.
dances.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Matching shirts, yep.
Yes, but it is. I mean, it's one of those things you don't think about. I would feel comfortable going into like an Indian wedding or an Indian culture, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm fine. I could care. Like, it doesn't matter. But for a white person, especially a white male, to go into and then really dive into another culture, you start to realize, like, oh wow, like I'm different.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
We've-
I am the minority here.
A lot
right?
of our, not arguments, but earlier disagreements in our relationship have been wrapped around the theme of culture.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, well, I was, raised to do things this way, and I was raised to do things that way. So if
Yeah.
I'm doing things here and she's doing things there, they kind of clash. And it's never malicious or malintent. It's
Yeah.
just we are
Some
raised
very
differently
differently.
in different neighborhoods and different families and different cultures from different ethnicities. So it's kind of like, okay, doesn't mean you're wrong. It's just we're different. We just got to kind of connect the bridge a little bit to see what we're doing. But I firmly believe everyone should kind of step outside their comfort zone.
Just in general.
And experience new things.
Experience different things,
Like,
and that's why I love
think a lot
melting
of
pots.
our disagreements philosophically in life are just because we just don't understand the other
Yeah.
person. We don't know what they're going through, and we think, hey, this is my way, I've done it, so this is the way it must be done, and you have no idea how it's going on over there.
Yeah.
So you may try to think this way, but you have no idea the dominoes or the ripple effect it has over there. And, walk a mile in someone else's shoes and then kind of experience it and then kind of wrap your head around it.
And it's what's going on right now. Like, even with with music and the music industry, like Beyonce going into country, they're like, that's not country music. I was like, homegirl was born and raised in Texas. Like, she's
country.
She's country. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of stuff but like, even the argument of like, Sha'Carri Richardson, the track and field sprinter, they were very upset, like, oh, she missed the Olympics, not this past one, the one before, and they were like, oh, because she had whatever.
She tested positive
for weed. Yeah, she tested positive for weed, and her somebody in her family very close to her recently passed away, and I was like, you understand, like, there's a cultural difference of how they cope in the South versus here. Like, it's very, very different. Like, there's just different cultures. Like, it just really is. But I mean, lotion was a big thing in this house. I was like, babe, he's like, why do you lotion so much?
Dude, I gotta ask you, how many bottles of hair product are in your shower?
Well,
You want to talk about culture shock? As a
my
white
wife's-
man
my
with my
wife's
5-in-1.
Yeah, no, I hear you. My wife's a minimalist, so she definitely has more product than I use. I mean, I use some product. The lotion stuff, though, I gotta say, I don't seem to need as much. Maybe it's
Wow.
because I'm you can call me pale, so you don't see it. I don't
don't
know what
see
it is.
it.
Yeah,
You
but
don't see the
find
ashiness.
but if I do too much lotion, it's like it doesn't absorb. There's something about my skin that doesn't absorb it. So I think that's my body saying I don't need it. Now, Ken, you might be
Dude, I
different.
lotion,
might
I
have
lotion
different-
every day, and I
Okay.
still got dry skin.
Really?
It's bad. It's bad. I'm like a
Really?
freaking snake. Yeah,
Okay.
Scales all over.
So
See?
every night,
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
every night he's like,
I mouthwash, I water pick, I lotion,
he's
the whole
lotion
nine.
the
Get
whole
ready
thing.
to go.
And I'm like, all right, there's my man.
She's
We'll
got
meet
you
him.
set
He's like,
up, man.
Yeah,
I
I got
love
one
it.
at my desk at work. I got one here. And it's got. I'm stacked, man. I got a
Gotta have
stash
lotion.
everywhere.
Gotta have lotion.
I love that. See, without
Got it.
Priscilla, where would you be?
Where
I just be
would
walking
you
around
be?
all ashy, dry
Yes.
skinned. Yeah.
Looking like a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. But like little things like in the culture, it's just very different. Yeah, like I have in rotation at least 5 wigs at all times. So like he's just like, what's happening? What's going on? I take off my wigs at night, and it's just like cornrows, and he's like, like
I'm a sucker for cornrows, manicure toes, yeah.
Yes, like he is, but it's fun, and it's fun to kind of joke about these kinds of things.
And it's fun now seeing like other people like, wasn't your hair different last week? And she's like, no, what do you mean? Like, I thought you were a redhead. Oh, did you just dye it? Yeah, definitely totally dyed it.
Yeah. Or this is the one I hate. Your hair grew since the last time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so much. Last week it grew 10 inches.
Yeah. She's got some magic potion that makes it grow.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And the very next day, she chopped it off. Yep.
Right.
But like going to the hair salon, we just watched Good Hair together. The Chris Rock movie that he made it. So he was like, I mean, his jaw was just like, what do you women do for your hair?
And I knew, never touch a black woman's hair. Like, black women, their hair is their pride. They spend money they don't have for their hair.
Yes.
But to see that up close and personal and firsthand was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been fun.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love how you guys have grown and shared in that experience.
Yeah.
So Priscilla, just pivoting a little bit, give me some common misconceptions people have about black women who are in interracial relationships. Obviously, people view you a certain way when they see you with Ken. Talk about that.
Yes. I think the biggest one is that, I mean, I don't want to sound rude or anything. I think most people think that we don't love black men. Like, we don't value them and we don't see them as being like our providers. And that's completely not true at all in any way, shape, or form. I can honestly say that I traveled the world. I've been to different countries, different continents, and I had my fun. It was great. And this is the person that I fell in love with. This is the person that showed up for me. This is the person that I'm a religious person. This is the person that I truly feel God put in my life. I'm not getting emotional. I'm going to
clammy. I'm about to start crying. I hear it in your throat. It's okay. I'm very honored, baby.
Ken, I like you.
Is that a misconception?
Oh, appreciate it.
I like you.
But yeah, I think that's one of the misconceptions that, black women, we settle for white men. Mm-hmm. That's not true either. That is absolutely not it. Did I check his credit score? Hell yes, I did. Absolutely.
I'm convinced she's only with me for my credit score and health insurance. Like,
hey, 100%, 100%.
Hey, something to gain,
Lord,
right?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
I think people just don't know. I think it's one of those things that people just are unaware, and when they can't see past their own points of view, and this is in everything, right? They just start filling out these, that's probably true. That's probably true. But I think that's the one that I've heard of, and that, I just don't love black men, and that I settled. And so that is, to me, really disheartening, because you're taking out the whole purpose of this, like the whole of like love in its essence, right? Like that I can only love one culture, and that's just not true. So I'm very blessed and grateful that we found each other, but it's one of the biggest ones that I will say. But on the other side, as being a white man, you guys get everything anyway. It is, we'll go out and people will give him, like, black men give him like a nod. Yeah. Like a sense of like approval.
Yeah, or like respect. Like I'm part of the culture. I'm an ally. I fit in.
Yeah.
My brother.
Like, let's bring it down.
There you go. I've had that too. I've had that
right,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Feels nice to walk in, like, what's up, baby?
Priscilla, that's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's very much a thing.
It is.
It is very much a thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I will say, in my personal opinion, I'm not trying to start a war.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I think it is more accepted than a black man with a white woman.
More
I will
accepted.
say that.
Really? So
I
you
think
think
this is more accepted than a black man and a white woman together.
now there was a time where I feel like because we've been married 25 years.
Oh,
There
congrats,
was a
that's awesome.
time. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. There was a time when I feel I can't speak for now because I see so much of both now in my,
Yes.
day
Oh
to
yeah.
day
All
going
over.
around.
Yeah.
I
And I
see
love it.
couples like ours and I see the opposite. But I feel
Yeah.
like at one time couples like ours were less common
Yeah.
Yeah.
and less I almost felt like less approved of by people. So you're saying the opposite, Priscilla?
This is again just my personal opinion and
Yeah.
what I've seen, and there are shows out there, and there are people out there that, of course, are very vocal about race staying with race,
Yeah.
and that the black man needs to honor the black woman
Hmm.
and stay within that culture. So that's why I say that, because I think there's a lot more pressure on black men to stay with a black woman.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting observation. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. For my perspective, yeah. And
Yeah.
seeing, watching some of these shows and stuff, I'm like, oof, yeah, that is it's definitely tougher for the black man for sure. Yeah.
Hmm. Ken,
Hmm.
when Priscilla, I don't know if you've dealt with microaggressions a lot just in your walk, and if you have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
has it happened or no? You're saying you haven't really dealt with it,
I'm probably like oblivious to it.
really?
I
Okay.
There are things that happen, and I control what I can control. It is a really big motto of mine. Me getting upset over nonsense, I have a very limited bandwidth. I have 24 hours in a day. I have a family. I have a husband. Microaggression, I don't. It is micro in my life.
I don't notice it, but I've never been one for subtlety. She could tell you I don't really pick up on the subtle hints she throws me.
God no, that's just men in
So
general.
like if the door doesn't hit me in the face, I won't even notice it's there. It's just kind of those things.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think,
maybe?
and maybe we don't experience it, but I definitely think for sure we very much do carry ourselves very different. We are very positive. We are open. We are happy. We are joyous. So when we go out, we wouldn't even notice if somebody was doing it. I don't think, just because that's just not, that's so below us. That has nothing to do with us or our life.
Water on a
100%.
duck's back, right?
Yeah,
Just-
we're not.
just-
I mean, we're not looking for it. It's,
No.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not even
100%.
on our radar.
Yeah.
How do you deal with moments when others make assumptions about your relationship based on stereotypes or prejudice? Ken, does that ever
Well,
come
first
up
I
in
would
your
like
heart?
to know, what are they assuming? Because I kind of want to get in on that.
Mhm.
It's like, what are they? Like I said, like, oh, she's only with me for my credit score and my health insurance. Like, if you think she's with me for my money, boy, let me tell you, I am a public school teacher. There ain't no money to be had. So that shit ain't happening, I promise you. So it ain't that. So assume all you want. Good luck. I open that wallet, it's just moths.
Oh my gosh.
Just nothing there.
Yeah.
Bunch of IOUs.
Keep her right here. Yes.
So, like, I just don't really see any of those assumptions. But I mean, we associate ourselves with good people,
Yes.
no matter what race they are, and we live.
Yeah.
Even though when we go out, on a Friday or Saturday night, we see mostly white people. The school I teach in is white. I think white's the third highest popularity. It's Hispanic, Black, and then white.
Okay.
So we live in a very diverse town. A lot of struggles, a lot of socioeconomic issues with our kids in our schools. So our whole island is just one giant diversity. So, between work and working at the bar, it's just, we just come across so many different people that it's a really cool, special place to live, because we're basically accepting of anybody and everybody, which is nice. It's awesome. I know not other people are that lucky to live in an environment like that, but we do, and it's pretty dope.
And I think it's just definitely something that the stereotypes, And I think that's also one of the things that's tough for me. Again, this is my point of view. Um, is people think I'm one of the like good black
The
people,
good ones.
the good ones, right? Because I'm educated, I went to the Olympics, I married a white man. Like I'm doing good, I'm doing well for myself, and I think that is it.
People are
How
like
I
very
dress,
cautious
yeah,
too at first when they first meet us. Like
yes,
they're hesitant to say things or
yes,
to kind of, I guess, let their guard down because they don't know how we're going to take it.
yeah.
But after 5 minutes of talking to us, they realize that,
Oh, they're normal people.
yeah, I'm going to
What do
say
you think
some
is
joke.
what do you think is fueling that hesitation, Ken?
Maybe it's just comfort. Like I said earlier, like seeing a white man with a black woman was something I'd never seen before, and I got to correct myself. My high school football coach, white guy, married a beautiful black woman.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was something that I saw, and it's like, oh, it's
That was
okay.
high school.
It was high school. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was 13 years old, 14 years old. But I just don't think it comes into people's lives every day.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go sit down at like a Vietnamese restaurant and they put food on your plate, you'd be like, wait, what? Like you've never ate this before. It's not part of your culture, so it's new to you. So you might be a little hesitant. It's phenomenal. It's delicious. But because you're not used to it and it's new to you, you might be a little guarded. And I think that kind of goes around with everything. That's why I think it's definitely
And I don't think
worthwhile to
people.
open your mind to just about everything and every culture and kind of experience new things.
I don't think people want to be offensive.
Yes,
I
that's
think
all.
that's it. They don't want to be canceled. They're like, oh crap, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I
Right.
don't know what I'm gonna
Political
like,
correctness,
what's gonna
whatever.
Yes, like,
Yeah.
and I think that's also it too. So
Yep.
I think, and that's also why I hate that what media is doing.
Yeah.
It's like making everybody walk on eggshells, and nobody can really be their true, genuine selves. So I think that's also it. And again, we chose this life.
Yep.
We know that being in an interracial marriage to some people is like it's fine, but to some other people, like you will still say, "Oh, that interracial couple that go out to the 100%." We know that that's being said, right?
And that person don't think it's a bad thing because it's not a lie. We are an interracial couple. Like
Yeah.
it's a description, but it's not necessarily an insult.
Yeah, but I think the stereotypes of me being like a loud black woman and they're all true. Whatever stereotype you think of a black woman, I am too much. I am loud. I am strong. I'm
Very
independent.
emotional.
I am. You better hush.
See, you hear it coming out. You hear it coming out. Right? Let me tell you.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens. So it's like these.
You're gonna die tonight.
These stereotypes. It's very much like there's a Tyler Perry series called Why Did I Get Married?
Yeah.
And there's a character called Angela, and she is, loud and, very sure of her. She has an alcohol problem, but it's very much like people trying to tame her, and she's just like, let me live my life, right? So it's very much like those stereotypes I think people expect from me. So I think that's, again, but I own it. I wear, I am never going to be ashamed of who I am and the relationship that I am in. And I am in. So for me, again, most of our couple friends in this area are white. We have an interracial a couple that are one of our closest friends, and he's in the media as well. So we both know, but he's a black man with a white woman, right? And so she deals with a lot more on her end. Yeah, she deals with a lot, and and she got used to it, right? You get used to it, you figure it out, and you realize that as long as you love the person and the person that you're with loves you, it really just doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't.
Not to like be throwing cliches around, but love is like really what bonds it. So you're going to go through these different experiences that are not going to be the same as a same race couple. There's going to be moments where there's some, I don't want to use the word struggle because it sounds like you guys don't struggle and we don't struggle, but people might struggle in certain situations and certain scenarios and certain encounters with other people. And so the way they're perceived, the way they're looked at, the way they might be treated. And so if you have genuine love, it's going to get you through that. If it's anything else, I think it's going to rip you apart because people just aren't going to want to deal with those moments of adversity or those difficult and awkward situations. It just might be too overbearing for somebody that's not in it for the right reasons. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Of course. And I mean, one of the things that I will say, if this is a stereotype or not, it was he made me a calmer person.
Mhm.
He made me
Took a lot of time.
he made me think about a lot of the things that I did.
Yeah.
The how I was so fast to react. He was like, think about it, like let's talk about it. Growing up, I saw a lot of like fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Like, excuse me, a lot of arguing. And for him, he was like, I didn't see my parents argue. I was like,
Once in my whole life.
What? I was like, are you kidding me?
Were you
I
being
didn't know you could
serious
have-
or were you joking?
Me?
Yeah.
Once in my whole life, my mom forgot like to pay like a bill or something, and my dad got pissed.
Really?
But that was the only fight. Yeah, I don't know how many times they did fought, but
Wow.
they never fought in front of us. Yeah,
Oh, so they did it separately. They
Maybe.
they
I don't
must
know.
have fought.
I don't
I mean,
know.
you have to.
I
But like,
guess.
but now that
But-
we're in this, Mike, we have disagreements. We don't fight.
Yeah.
We legitimately.
When one of us is mad at the other person, it's because of
Miscommunication.
Miscommunication. I said this, but you heard that, or you said this, and I heard that. Like, the language barrier got crossed up. It wasn't an insult. It wasn't derogatory. It wasn't mean. It wasn't meant to piss you off or be offensive. It's just something got lost in translation.
And I'm Latina and I'm Antiguan. I am full-blooded Caribbean. I am full-blood psycho.
That's why I'm sweating to death in my own house.
You're fine. Maybe that's another stereotype. I love the house
Fuck it.
warm. Love the house
Need to go
warm.
back to
This
the
could be
ancestry
80.
in the
If I could
Caucasus
be
Mountains.
80, it'd be great. He wants it like 55. It's awful.
So
It's
so what's
awful.
my problem? I like warmth and heat. I hate cold.
No, I
So-
love
so-
warmth. Like, give me 65, 70.
Outside?
But besides
You're a
that,
liar. You be lying right now.
I'm sitting here. I got sweatpants on, dude. They're rolled up above the knee because it's so
He's
damn hot in this
sweating. He's
house.
sweating, yeah. And I'm perfectly comfortable.
Yeah.
I am loving this interview. But it is, I mean, there's all these different kinds of things that we find out about ourselves. But he definitely made me a calmer person. He made me think about things, and he made me want to be better for him. And that's something that a coach had taught me. And he was, he's Italian, and he was always just like, you have to feel like you're marrying up. And that's what it was. It was really about making sure that I was showing up for him and being the best version of me that I could be for him. And I think that crosses over, and it looks over a color. It does, or a culture. It's just about the person. And you're right, it is cliche, but love does make you do crazy things. But when it's true, passionate, forgiving, loyal love, there are things that just, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. And I think that's also what happened. And my friends even saw it. They were like, Priscilla, you are a better version of yourself with Ken. And I think that just
That's
happened
right.
with it. It's a love tap.
Yep, that's a third one.
Ken, it's a
love
love
tap.
tap, man. You should know that by
It
now.
is exactly just eating it.
it.
It's-
Ken, you said
But yeah.
something earlier. You said you're in a school system that's very diverse. There's a lot of
Correct.
different people, and so
Yeah.
as a white man, that's probably I'm assuming that's opened your eyes just to some different things, and maybe changed your perspective on things just experientially. Has that in any way helped your relationship with Priscilla?
I think my relationship with Priscilla has helped me better as a teacher, if you will, to just dive in and communicate and talk to my students, because the longer we're together, the more of black culture I understand. So now it just makes me, the white teacher, able to relate to my black students just a little bit better. And it makes them open up to me a little bit more, knowing that I have a black wife, and okay, this guy kind of understands and gets it and understands home life or this or that. Like, they're not afraid to open up to me and talk to me about stuff that's going on at home, or like, hey, I gotta be late to practice, I gotta work, or this or that. Like, I understand it more because I'm one of a few white people in their lives that understands kind of black culture, and that's not me trying to pat myself on the back by any means at all.
Seems like it.
It says, well, thanks, babe. I mean, you could always pat me too. There we go. See, that's a nice loving.
It's a love tap. There you go.
Exactly. Right. They all look the same probably on camera, but it's helped me, with the students, and I think the students definitely appreciate that. That they have, because there's not many black people in education, at least from my experience. I haven't seen black men or women as teachers or administrators really. So the fact that I'm there, with the students with a black wife, it kind of, I'm not, but at least there's someone who kind of gets it.
Yeah, that's great.
If you will.
Yeah. Priscilla, to the black woman that's watching this podcast or listening to it right now, that's considering interracial dating, getting involved with somebody. Yeah, I knew you'd say that, Ken. But I'm throwing this one at Priscilla. What would you say to them?
As somebody who is always deemed not black enough, I think I'm gonna really just say, open your eyes to culture, to love, to experiences. Don't close yourself off and be narrow-minded. The world is an incredibly beautiful place when you take a step back and you learn from life. It's all going to be learning lessons. It's not going to be always sunshine and rainbows, but it's also not going to be all the stereotypes and the negatives and racism. It's not. Open your heart to finding true love, but you have to work on yourself. And that's something that I did. Once I had broken it off in my previous relationship, I knew that I needed time to really be the best version of me. And once that happened, we kind of just happened. And so obviously this topic is interracial marriage, but just be open to different cultures and be open to seeing the world for what it is, and know that your love could change somebody's life in the best way.
No, I appreciate that. This has been a really great conversation. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen.
Having these open discussions is what's great, and that's why we have no problem doing it. And we're not going to make everybody happy, and we're not having everybody else's experience. So we speak about our experience and what it's been like. And we haven't been closed off. We haven't been judgmental at all. It's just going out and being ourselves. And I always say to the kids that I speak to, be the light and you will attract light, right?
Yep.
Like if you are just a lighthearted, good person, you will eventually attract really great people. And so I'm very, very grateful that people can see us for who we are. This was not supposed to happen at all. So I'm very, very grateful that we became the people that we're supposed to be.
Thanks for being here, guys. I've really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you for sharing your platform with us.
Absolutely. Ken and Priscilla Loomis, that's going to do it for this edition. We are out of here. Make sure you check us out at mikecpodcast.com and drop us a comment. Let us know, have you been in an interracial relationship? What has your experience been? We've gotten on this topic before. We've gotten great feedback and comments from you guys, and we love hearing from you. So keep the communication going and tell us your experience. This is the Mike C Podcast. Till next time, bye, everybody.